We got to
Mhm.
spend time with a whole bunch of different people there. As a matter of fact,
Wow.
I threw together a little video. But before we get to that, Christy, what's the biggest memory or best memory for you? What's
Well, there were three things that I remember most. One is being able to sit there all weekend and talk to Mike.
mm,
That was the best thing.
Mike King?
Uh,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
Getting to talk to Jason Landry's dad, that
Hmm.
was that was really touching. And the people who shared their paranormal stories. Those
Yeah,
three things stuck out to me the most.
it's interesting because CrimeCon isn't known for being a paranormal storytelling place,
Hmm.
and it's interesting to have some type of product where you're able to talk about that and how many people engage it. Like there was
Hmm.
literally, it seemed like most people were interested in that. I know we put out a bunch of those cards. I know we gave
Yeah.
away a ton of sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was pretty amazing on that front for me. Hands down was the Jason Landry booth. Um,
Yes.
the searchers that were all there, of course, Jason Watts being one of them. Of
Hmm.
course, the family, Kent and Lisa coming out for that. But really, it was kind of a bigger hit than I even anticipated or expected. There wasn't a time when I went by their booth that it wasn't packed, that they
Oh, I
weren't
know.
telling numerous people about this story at the same time. Which, of course, when you think about that family, having to share that type of loss over and over and over was really taxing on them. And that's something I kept going and trying to make sure. And they actually figured out a flow. They would take some time where
Mhm.
one of them would go away for a little bit, leave the other one. Um, but of course, that's the thing I was most proud of. On top of that, I had kind of a special event that happened just right at the tail end of CrimeCon. I had a dinner
Ooh.
party that I was invited to, and a certain person showed up there. I'm not going to tell you who. I've got a picture of us together, and actually, Mrs. Brain Scratch is in that picture. So when you see me and Vera, the person that's in between us is a person that we were both really excited to spend some time with. Got to hang out, play a game with, had dinner, sat at the table, even heard him tell a story, and then a really crazy moment happened. I'll tell you about it after the video. Let's take a look at this together.
In Nashville town, the crowds have found their way to Nancy Grace sitting at a table, signing books for days. Podcasts, YouTubers, and more. Oh, it's CrimeCon Nashville 2024. It's CrimeCon in Nashville 2024.
Be sure you fasten your seatbelt low and tight across your leg. Secure your carry-on items, and your armrests are in resting position. Finally, take a moment to read the safety information card in your seat card.
Another one in the books. That was CrimeCon 2024. And my wife and I hanging out with Josh Mankowitz from Dateline. It was amazing. And it was Sheila Wysocki that actually threw the party. Christy, you're muted, by the way. So a big thank you to Sheila for inviting me over, showing us a wonderful time at her home, getting together with some friends, old and new, and getting to spend some time. I've seen Josh at CrimeCon ever since the first one I went to, which was in Nashville back in 2018. And we've just never had the right moment, just never really bumped into each other in some way where I could just say hi or something like that. And I had no expectation that he would know who I was. What was the big moment I'm talking about is we're sitting at dinner. He had just gotten through telling us, he went into full on Dateline mode. Like, we asked him about a case and he did. All of a sudden he's like, well, the person, like the whole voice, everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He just went right into it. It was amazing. But then as soon as he wraps up that story, he's like, something we got to talk about is this whole Cecil Hotel thing.
You're like, oh my gosh, you saw me in that.
I was like, Josh, I had nothing to do with what happened to that guy in the 4th episode. That was all drama that was added. He's like, John, we know.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing. Yeah. So very cool time. Really had a great time. And then Vera and I stayed for a couple days and got to take in Nashville as well. I got to go to the American Pickers Antique Archaeology Store. That was one of the highlights for me. I've got even a little pick here that says Antique Archaeology on it. I might have a little shot glass for Antique Archaeology that's already filled with something for later.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
It was great. I mean, it's not giant, but it was great. And went to the Johnny Cash Museum, which was really fun. Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah, Jason and his wife were going to go do that.
Yeah. Between, doing that and then hanging out on Broadway, we did a little bit of a sightseeing tour. We had one of those bus passes where you jump on, jump off. But really, it's a place to spend a weekend. I don't know that I could spend a whole week there. I think I would kind of run out of things outside of hanging out in bars and listening to music, which you could do all the time. I was surprised at how the kind of tourist area, it was busy. It was like Monday afternoon and the place was packed. Now, I guess they did have CMA Fest that was coming up, but still, it was crazy busy. Misty Kate says the booths looked great. That's in large part because of the work that Misty Kate did on that banner that was on the left side. And then the search team built up the banner on the right side. They basically kind of separated and had the left banner really focused on Jason and the case, and then the right banner, for the search team, which was excellent. And they did a great job out there. So that was CrimeCon. Really, really special. A bunch of great connections. I got to meet so many new people that you're going to see them popping up on the channel. More of that coming up on the channel in the future.